who comes first? Well, that really depends on the way you spell it, hence the title. If it's as to competitions in life and going for a job, going for whatever it is, if you come second, you've lost. Simple as that. However, in a relationship, men, it's quite the opposite, all right? If you come first, you've lost, because no woman likes to be persistently let down. Everybody is entitled to an orgasm, and women are no different to this. So if you persistently keep finishing too early, or just satisfying yourself, you're on the road to failure, basically. My dad taught me this. He says, if you can manage, apart from being polite and being a gentleman, being nice, and never letting your hand on a woman, he says, if you can manage to keep her entertained between the sheets, you're halfway there, my son. Obviously, there's a lot more to learn than that, but that was quite an important thing. It's a bit like blokes who won't make the effort to go downstairs on a woman, but expect them to go down on them. That's quite unacceptable and incredibly very selfish. So have a think about that, lads. If you're a selfish lover, she'll get bored and find somebody who's better than you. Now, I'm led to believe it's not all about size, and if you're too big, that's bad too. Obviously, if you're hung like a wasp, this could be problems. However, there's a lot of things that you can do with your hands and your mouth that will make up for this, all right? You'll be amazed how many women out there aren't all about size, all right? I've asked questions, that's why. However, yeah, so you wouldn't get a car that was cold and rag fuck out of it straight away. Women are the same. You can't go flat out on somebody who's cold, all right? They take a little bit of wooing, all right? Now, obviously, if you're a romantic person, you really are halfway there. And there's such a thing as finding out where the erogenous zones are. I mean, if you can find the clitoris, literally, you have hit a home run. Most important, okay? This part is very, 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 very sensitive and will play a massive part in making sure that the woman is satisfied. By the way, did you know that you can give a woman an orgasm just by playing with the nipples? Bet you didn't. Well, you can. I know. I've managed to do it. And the person who had it happen to them was amazed. Not as much as I was. And it was fun too. However, experimentation is the key to all things, but if you want to wham bam thank you ma'am, you're going to spend a lot of time with a P45 in your hand. Not just that, women can be the most loving and attentive creatures, and they can put up with a lot, but there is a limit to anything. And you ask any woman this, if she's been in a relationship with a bloke who never gave a fuck, they lose interest, and then you won't get any unless you're a complete wanker and take it, and that's called rape, so don't do that either. You have to want to make sure that she actually wants to get you back into bed. As I say, learn a lot about the physical anatomy of a woman. There's plenty of stuff on YouTube that will explain this. There's loads of stuff. Literally, if you're one of these blokes that's never slept with a woman, that's no excuse. There is so much documentation and so many videos explaining stuff, and I'm sure you've watched films anyway on the internet, you know, the left-handed websites, you know, knock yourself out. Another thing, if you're prone to finishing too quickly because you get excited, there are things to do. It's called having a safety wank. Never forget the lads used to say, on a first date, yeah, have a safety. Huh? It's basically where if you're fully charged, and if you're young, you probably are, or even if you're older and you're a bit of a beast, make sure you drain the main vein of all of its hiss, if you want to put it that way, before you go out. And if you're one of these that's really, really sensitive, have 2 or 3. Better still, wank yourself flatter than a bat's wing, my son. Whatever it takes to make sure you reach that goal. Literally, there would be nothing more frustrating for you and for her that you're like, oh, this is going, oh shit. Butterfingers going home, all right? So these are little things that you should do before you go out. Not just that, hygiene. I'll never forget, we used to do the magic friend test, all right? Now, I'm not suggesting you do this, but you'd be kissing and your hands would be somewhere, right? And what you do is kiss, and you just do this, you go, it's gross, but we did it, all right? Because nobody wanted to go down where somebody wasn't exactly pine fresh. And there are a few out there that aren't. But in the same breath, I'll never forget the first time I was introduced to the saying, somebody was calling this person a rim cheese. I had no idea what this was. I was young, I was innocent. But rim cheese is really one of these things that you don't ever want to get called. It would show that you're not paying the proper attention to your personal hygiene. Nobody wants to actually go down and experience that, or they don't want to get the smell of somebody who's not washed. The only person you're going to impress if you stink like that, apart from another tramp, would possibly be a dog who would find you absolutely exquisite. There again, they lick each other's asses, so they would. No, pine fresh, my son, and fully dealt with, so you don't end too quickly. Pay as much attention as possible, and yeah, don't be a creep. All right, that's a little bit more advice for you to be going on with, in case you've not heard it anywhere else. These things have really, really served me well. All right, let me just tell you that. And I've heard some fucking horror stories in my time from people, and trying to keep a straight face to some of them, I will say, and also trying to understand some of them. But there you go. Humans are a funny old breed. However, you can do your best to limit any misery or embarrassment, and also fine-tune it, because there is nothing better than he and she in fine-tune with each other. Literally. If you're in a good relationship with a woman and both of you feel comfortable with each other, you're both happy and settled in your relationship, you could literally try most things that are within the realms of being decent, all right? And whatever, the rest of it is to be picked up by you along the way. So, bear this in mind. I hope you're all doing well. And I've got a lot more of these to come out, but it's literally as I think about them, I'm doing them, all right? So, who comes first? Bear that in mind. In the real world, coming first is everything. In the relationship, coming first is not everything. It is the last thing you want to be doing. All right, there you go. See you in a bit.